Welcome to Angling Lines Berniere, the home of some mega carp.
Mate, I think we've got him. I think we've got him. This trip has just about had everything. Some monster mads, some epic boat battles. We've had plenty of fish. We've had a couple of real big uns. We've been stalking. We're dropping rigs from boats. Fighting carp in some of the most craziest weed beds. I'm going to go back to last Saturday now, where we met up with David the bailiff to try and get as much information about this incredible place as possible. Now the big question, why have I picked this area of the lake to start? And it's been solely off of David's guidance. His knowledge of this place far outweighs my knowledge. I've only been here an hour, I know absolutely nothing. So for him to say to me, you know, this area here is very consistent, that's good enough for me. If he said to me, oh Robert, you know, there's 3 very good areas, the fish could be anywhere, you know, they could be up the top end, they could be in the channel, they could be here, then, you know, you've got to start looking at weather apps. What's the weather doing this week? Is it going to be hot? Is it going to be cold? Are they going to be in the deeps? Are they going to be in the shallows? What's the wind doing? And then make a judgment call based off them factors. But, you know, the wind was coming down here all week, and David said to me, it's very consistent, it's good enough for me. Well, after a very long day, we've finally got ourselves in position where, yeah, we're just about ready to get some rods out. It's, yeah, nice trip down, 4 hours from Calais, and yeah, you're joining me at Angling Lines at Berniere, a very picturesque, quiet, stunning lake, this one, and it's got some, like all lakes in France, got some absolute beasts in it, but they're nice carp as well. Jet black, a real good, true representation of where they live. You know, this is a very clear, very rich, very interesting lake, and it's got its set of challenges as well. There's, it's not going to be plain sailing, going out there in the boat and just dropping rigs and landing them. We've got, yeah, we've got a few nuisance species and a little bit of weed to contend with. Now the lake's got crayfish, it's got poisson chat, and it's got some big old rudd as well. Now if you've never come across poisson chat before, they're like mini catfish, but rather than just swallowing the bait, they gnaw away at it and until there's nothing left, and yeah, leave you with no hook bait. So we've got, so like I say, we've got a lot of learning to do over the next couple of days, but I've been steered in the right direction by the bailiff, a real nice lad and a very good angler as well. David has helped me out massively over the last couple of hours. I've punished him, but you need to, you know, when you're new to a lake like you are here, and you've got very little knowledge, the bailiffs, the on-site team you will have at all the lakes you go to in France generally, you know, they're there to steer you, they're there to guide you, and David has done exactly that. He's pointed me out some fantastic areas to start with, but he constantly stressed about the bait and how much it needs to go in because of the nuisance fish. You know, especially the middle zones, it's no good going out there with a boat and almost setting traps, you know, a handful of bait. It's not the way to fish it apparently. Put the bait in. That has been drilled into me since I've got here. You know, 10 kilos. Get it in, 10, 15 kilos. And tiger nut hook baits also very important. And stick to that tiger nut and boilie approach because of the rudd. We're not talking 3 or 4 ounce rudd. I'm not joking when we say 4 to 5 pound rudd. These things are huge. I've seen them. They are absolutely massive. So yeah, we've got a lot to contend with. But yeah, I'm very much looking forward to getting amongst it. It's quite a big old lake as well. It's 27 acres. There's about 500 carp in here, which is a decent stock of fish. And they go up to mid-60s, a real good stock of sort of 30s and 40s amongst them as well. And obviously the larger residents, as I mentioned, up into the mid-60s. And they're really nice carp, a really good true representation of where they live. You know, gin clear lakes will often sort of give very dark carp. And from the pictures I've seen and the research I've done, they're big and they're dark. So I'm very much looking forward to getting rigs out. So next time I see you, you will join me in the boat when we're hovering over some spots, over some nice clear areas where we'll be dropping our rigs. And yeah, quickly the rig, you know, I'm going to start off with Very strong tackle. Again, we've got our challenges, we've got our weed, very, very similar to when I was fishing over at Carp. I learnt a lot on that trip about the strength of tackle that is needed on these lakes when you've got weed beds and you've got snags and stuff. So I've gone in with a very similar setup, you know, a foot of nano tubing, very simple leg clip system. And again, the armour cord sinking in 30 pound, it never let me down once at Carp, and I was fishing to sort of extreme snags. Little slip D setup again, very quick change on the hook to again a size 4 wide gape X. Strong, never let me down at Carp. I know it won't let me down here. And again, a common theme, the old tiger nuts coming into play again, and that is mainly because of the crayfish, that is mainly because of the poisson chat. As another one boshes a little bit further away from my zone this time. They're starting to get a little bit of active now. That's the third fish I've seen. It's looking good, so I'm very much looking forward to dropping this on some spots, give them a good help and a bait, and hopefully we'll get into some of these fantastic fish that reside in here. But let's get out in the boat and get some rigs on the spot. The maiden voyage. I say the maiden voyage. I've been out once already with the aquascope, and you can't really see the bottom that well because it's fairly deep, but there's definitely no weed in the area. Now I've got everything ready with me because we are starting to lose a little bit of light, including my my leading rod with braid and a probe lead. Yeah, to try and find the best spot within this area that I've now found to place my fishing rod. So I've popped a H block in the weed bed, a real thick weed bed, so the fish are never going to pick up on that H block, as a marker as such. Now, from what I gathered off of the H block, off of the aquascope, sorry, is I need to be about a rod length off of it to the left, which is perfect. So I'm going to go back out now, have a good 5 or 6 sort of donks around, check for any sort of silkweed or any sort of rubbish on the bottom that I don't really want to be fishing on, and just find the best spot possible. Ugh, clean as a whistle. And once I have found it, they're getting fed. I'm not going to mess about. I'm going to give them a good, yeah, give them a good 10 kilos. I've seen some fish in this area. It looks mustard. It looks like if you had to design an area, this is it. A spot within a whole sort of area of weed. Good morning. I tell you what, we went from full summer to full autumn in one light last night. It was cold. It went down to about 6 degrees, the weatherman reckons, and whether that played a part in little and no action, I don't know, but there was a lot of fish here last night, and I honestly believe I felt like I should caught. About 11 o'clock last night, I just jumped into the sleeping bag, and for about 20 minutes, half an hour, they were booming out all over the shop, and a lot of fish really, really short. It's difficult to gauge exactly where they are because there's like no light pollution here at all. It is a very, very dark place. But yeah, I really feel like I should have caught. I did manage to sneak a right hand rod out last night. It was a bit of a dump and run jobby. David mentioned that there's a few bags in the trees over there, and there's a couple of really, really reliable areas. I could just about see the bottom with the fading light. Managed to get a rod on it, but no action on either rod. And with the amount of fish in this area last night, and there were definitely, you know, there was fish here, I really felt like I should have caught a couple. Now, I've got a bit of a feeling that the crayfish may have got me, even though I've got tigers on. I'd actually, if I reel in at midday and I've got no bait on, I'd actually take that as a positive, believe it or not, because I can work around the crayfish. I really feel like I should have caught, and if I had no bait on, then yeah, I reckon they've been feeding on my area. So we're going to find out a lot over the next couple of hours. I'll stick it out till 12 before I start venturing off and looking for stalking opportunities. Looks like a lovely, lovely sunny day, so I'm sure we'll be able to find them. So yeah, smash this coffee, chill out, take it all in, and we'll find out our fate with our hook baits in a couple of hours. Right, I'm just above the spot now, rather than reeling from the bank and find out if I've got any hook bait left or if the rig's been tangled through poisson chat. I'm going to lift the rod off the spot and find out exactly what's gone on. I'm almost a little bit scared and nervous here. Let's find out. Oh my God. It's perfect. It is exactly how I left it. Oh, that looked razor. I was, in a way, hoping the hook bait had gone. Because I honestly thought there was enough fish in this area last night just for the shows that I'd have got a bite. Well, we're fishing. Maybe it was a hook bait thing. Maybe the black tigers weren't the one. Maybe tonight I'll go double natural tigers. Interesting now. I really hoped that the craze had got me and the fish were feeding and I wasn't fishing. Because I really thought I should have got a bite. Okay, well, it is what it is. It is what it is. Tonight we go again. Different hook bait choice. Oh, right. Let's go and see what this one's saying, and while I'm out here, have a little look for any baits left on the spot, 'cause it's a much shallower area, and also investigate this area a little bit more because I really lost a light yesterday evening. Well, this is the little finger bay that David recommended at midday. I came and have a look at because apparently when the sun gets round here and warms this area up, they really do love this sort of part of the lake, and it's going to be hitting hole. It's going to be under my rod tip stuff, but it's yeah, very exciting fishing and not something you're doing often in France either. So very much looking forward to dropping a rig in and seeing what explosive action happens. Now, I have heard a few, quite a few, to be fair. No idea whereabouts they are in this finger bay, but we've definitely heard them from us from over there. But yeah, I'm just going to lower a rig in just behind this weed, sit back, keep my ears and eyes out, and if they start washing elsewhere I can quickly nip around to the other side and have a go around there. But for now, let's lower a rig in and see what happens. Bite off quickly, it's a bait. Well, we spent best part of a couple of hours in this little stalking area here, and I've had a couple of liners, probably rudd maybe to be fair, but what I have seen and what I have learnt over the last couple of hours is hopefully going to set me up well for the remainder of the week. Now the fish definitely seem to prefer 30 yards to my right in the middle of the channel. Now I've had a little walk round there, and exactly where I see in the fish there's plumes of what looks to be fair rather feeding bubbles than sort of just they're swimming along and bubbling. So I think I'm going to give it another hour here, just in case they do venture down here as the sun gets up more. But what I really want to do over the next course of this evening is find the best possible area to fish in that sort of central zone. There's a lot of weed in this area, and I'm almost just pub chucking and hoping for the best at the minute. I don't want to do that going into the next sort of like 5 or 6 days. So I'm going to go around there with a marker rod find the best possible zone, get it all wrapped up, give them plenty of food, so when I come back here tomorrow, my knowledge of that area is down to an absolute T. I've got some bait there, and hopefully we can then get a quick bite. But there's, yeah, it's definitely well worth putting the effort into this section of the pond, because yeah, they most definitely like it down here. I am very glad I opted to have a little let around in this area rather than just sort of pub chuck, you know, to where I'm thinking the fish are going to be, because again, just like the main part of the lake, it's very weedy, but there are areas out there, and I found an area slightly left of the swim. It's in between the marginal weed bed and a strip of weed that runs through that middle section. That's the area that I'm going to fish. I'm going to wrap this up once I get back to the swim, and I'm going to come back down here. I'm not expecting the fish to be here tonight. David the bailier said they definitely vacate this area and go to the main part of the lake, so it's pointless sort of wasting food on that roach and rudd and crayfish and posson chat are going to eat. But I'm going to come down here in the morning at first light and then bait. Aim at that tree, in between them two very visual weed beds, and yeah, give them a load of bait, nip back 4 or 5 hours later, and I'm sure we'll catch them then. We've seen more fish in the last 10 minutes filtering through this sort of this channel than we have the entire time of being here. So it's all positive, it's all starting to happen. I found a couple of great areas in the main bowl. Yeah, it's all, the puzzle is all starting to fit now, and it ain't gonna take long, I'm sure, before we get one of these Berniere carping nets. Berniere, that's a sauce net.